So I was stuck on 400 sitting in my car, just like, I wonder if these people to the right of me are going to let this police car go so that maybe they can clear this accident up sooner. Which, spoiler alert, they didn't. Apparently they didn't know that if a car behind you, like there's an emergency vehicle behind you with their lights on, you just move. Like, you just figure out a way to move. They were just sitting there like, well, I guess they got their lights on because it's a party. The whole time I was just like, man, I want to like drive my car and like nudge them out the way so you can go, so I can go, so we can go, so everybody can go to work, so we can get done with the work day, so we can go home, because nobody wants to do this. Like, but anyway, back to your story. Sorry, I have to interject.
No, that's fine. Like, but basically, what I was getting back to what I was saying, it's like when I got there, he was there for 3 hours, and it was no customers. It was just slow, dead. It took me an hour and a half to complete all my duties for the rest of the night that he should have done within an hour. And all I saw him do was stand there talking, doing nothing. And everyone was fine with that.
Yeah.
But I'm just in here thinking, like, if this was me,
oh no, you'd be fired before the sun went down.
It's like, and it's like there, I would just, and I like whenever I'm at work, I keep a mental track. It's like, this should have been done. This should have been done. Nothing of this stuff was done, cause I keep a running tally. So like, whenever I get the chance to say something to my store manager or my district manager, that's like, look, this is what I see. This is, and you know what I do. How is this even fair? Like, because I cut my own hours so I can have time for school and still bust my ass just so I can make less money than them. But my shift managers, all they really care about is what pertains to them. So
yeah, man.
It's just
it'll drive you crazy.
Yeah, it's saddening.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's made worse because like you said, TJ, it's easy to tell when someone cares about their job. And like, this isn't like throwing shade on anybody but like, it's easy to tell when someone cares about their job. And I personally think, you know what, if you're just here to collect a paycheck and you don't always feel like doing 100%, that's fine. We all have those days. But it cannot just be me. Like, there's like a running almost meme at my job that when something goes out for review, I'm one of two people. It may be three people soon because we just have a new hire, but consistently, I'm one of like one or two people who's willing to be like, yes, I'm balancing the entirety of the universe on my left hand, but I guess my right hand is free. Like, and I'll and I'll take on more work, and of course that goes unnoticed because everybody gets so used to you doing it that it's just like, well, of course, that's just how things go. But I actually did an experiment one time. Somebody sent out an email asking if anybody was available to review something, pick it up. And my first instinct is like, well, it's only 30 pages. I can get that done before the day's over. I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to wait and see. I waited 30 minutes. Mind you, this is email. So this isn't one of those like smoke signal. I didn't know. This is email and it was sent to everybody. You got it. We own the same email server. And nobody responded. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like looking around like, okay, you're on your phone. You're on YouTube, like you're reading an article about the presidential stuff, and nobody's looked up for like half a second to check this email. But of course, if I'm working all day and like TJ or Patrick or Blue or somebody texts me, and I look down at my phone to be like, "LOL,
your
Joey,
boss is right there."
Joey, why are you on your phone? And I'm like, come on.
Like, do you not see the whole office on their phones? Why am I the one that you?
I mean, true enough. I mean, like my boss is the person in charge of my department. They are lenient when it comes to phones because everybody's on their phone. I mean, like it's just one of those things that. Yeah, like it's just one of those things that happens. But it's like for some reason, me who has a ton on my plate, at least that's the only thing that I hear. I mean, of course, I don't know what other people are hearing in terms of reprimands about their phone. It's just that whenever it comes to me, it always comes with like this like pointed thing, like, you know, you're this and you're that and you're still on your phone. And I'm like, I'm on Spotify. Like, I don't even talk to my friends anymore. They think I'm dead.
If anything, you deserve to be on your phone, bro. You put in too much work. You do like the extracurricular activities at the job too. Like, Come on, bro. You should be
you
getting
do
the
absolutely
most slack. You should be getting the most slack, dude. And you're doing things like I remember you were telling me before. You did like a 11 million page report, and they expected you to have it done by the end of the week, and you had it done by the end of the day. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, no. So like even on that,
You had a report due at the end of the week, and you got it by that day, and they said nothing.
well, no, it was like a job.
Oh, okay.
Hey, at least you got a good job. We don't even get good jobs.
I mean, but like
Shit,
even like on that same note, like so there was it was so frustrating too. Like I wasn't even mad. I could just all I could do was laugh. Like there was one day where somebody emailed us about an error, and they were like, "Hey, just so you know, this is looking weird on my screen, and you guys handle it. Can you let me know what it would take to fix it?" So, of course, since I was the person in charge of it at the time, I look into it, and I find all these issues going wrong with the system we're using. I'm like, okay, I can either fix this one mistake and wait for everything to blow up, or I can try to fix this before it blows up, and hopefully nobody else has to deal with this. Ended up being that we're going to have to switch we have to switch to a different thing. But I spent literally all day. I was calling Adobe. I was doing this. I was working with my coworker. Like, hey, they're saying this, and this is this. And I wasn't working with this as long as you guys, but I'm thinking that this will work this way. And I'm on this forum. And when I brought it to everybody, they were like, so what else? Like, so you weren't working on a user guide today? And I'm like, what? The system we're working on could catastrophically fail at any given second. No, I didn't do a user guide today. I was trying to make sure we didn't lose, and it's like, oh well, if it could fail, why didn't we know about this before? Because I found out about it 3 hours ago. What have we done about it? I've been on the phone with them. They haven't really given me a clear answer. Why haven't they given you a clear answer?
At that point,
didn't. I don't know.
At that point, I would have to choke somebody. I'm sorry. That's too much.
I mean, and what's crazy about it is the whole time, like that entire process, it was so frustrating because it was like I inherited this system, like management of this system. I didn't cause these issues. This was not me. I only noticed the issues and realized how bad it could get. So I pointed it out, and I was like, hey, we should probably do something about this, because if we don't, this could get bad. And all of a sudden, it was like, well, why did you let this happen? What? I didn't let anything happen. All I did was point it out. Like, why are you mad at me? Why am I not why is this not like a thank you for finding this out, let's do what we can to figure out how to fix it? It got to that point much later, but the initial reaction was like fire and fury, and I'm like, if you don't calm down.
Like, side freaking note, for those of you who watch One Punch Man, this is exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
You show up to save the day, and yet when you beat the monster in one punch, the city is all like, okay, this was all scripted. He obviously had this fake monster destroy half the city before he defeated it. How else could he defeat it so easily?
Yeah. Or when it's like, dude, well, those other 3,000 heroes soften him up so he can get that one key blow in. And I'm like, did you not see him punch apart reality? Because he did that.
He must have planned it.
It was all schemed.
But yeah, man, shout out to One Punch Man.
Yeah, and it can be the most frustrating thing because it makes you not want to improve stuff when the response you get is, why is this your fault? I'm just like, it's not my fault. I'm just trying to help. It's like, well, and then of course there's like the old adage, if you find the error, you fix the error, which is fine. But if the error is something that you can't fix in 45 seconds, then all of a sudden it's like, even with the new system that we're dealing with, there was a problem because, as you guys have heard, the documents that we work with are tremendous. There was a problem where the new system we were moving to and its current iteration couldn't handle documents of that volume. So we let the people in charge know. Well, why does it work that way? I don't know. That's just what we found out. It's like, well, is there not something we can do because we're supposed to move to this and this, that? We're looking into it. Just give you an update on what's going on. And once there was a patch or something that was found that allowed it to work a little better, it was still just like, well, why was this happening in the first place? Well, I don't really know because we didn't build it, and
I also have
I don't really know what else to say.
I have a boss like that who just asks why all the time. I would love to provide you with an answer, but regardless, it's not gonna help fix our current situation. Like, you asking me when did this happen and why did this happen is not going to prevent it from happening in the future.
Yeah, you know? I need more people to ask how do we fix it instead of why.
Yeah, thank you so much, Carter.
Yeah.
Exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah, and I mean, I think most people eventually get there because that's like the only like end result you can get to. But your first reaction shouldn't be whose fault is this,
Right?
because sometimes it's nobody's fault. Sometimes things just go wrong because humans are
Especially
working
with
stuff.
technology too. I will say this, people, listen up, please. Technology is not perfect. It does screw up from time to time. Trust
Technology
me.
isn't even close to perfect. Technology actually works like 30% of the time, and we just are okay with it working 30% of the time. Because the people on the back end know that, well, if they click on this button, then that button, they delete their hard drive. But fortunately, nobody ever clicks that button and that button. And then the one time a customer does, it's like, well, why'd you let this happen? Because you said we didn't have the man hours to go back and fix the code. So we didn't. And it's just like, well, why would you let that error come up in the first place? Because
At that point, I'm just like,
the man hours. I don't know what else to tell you.
oh man, that's dumb.
Yeah, but I mean, in all those situations with a leader, like in my situation with a leader, even in Patrick's situation with a leader, like I would like to imagine that a leader wouldn't be afraid to crack down on a lazy employee and be like, I mean, because if I were in, I guess, the shift manager at Patrick's place, I wouldn't even like discipline so and so. I'd be like, look, I'm paying you both the same amount, and they're doing more work than you. If you're trying to make more money, you're not on the right path to do it. Like, you can stand there all you want, and you can eventually probably end up fired, or you can join in and help and have a better chance of making more money in the future. So I have no reason to threaten you. I'm just telling you facts. Facts are, if one guy is busting his butt every day and you aren't, chances are they're going to move up before you. And then when you get mad, like, well, why did so-and-so get a promotion? Let's go to the tapes, shall we?
Oh, the tapes. The wonderful tapes.
We need more tapes. We need more tapes, bro.
Eyes.
Yeah, like let's just go to the tapes and figure out
I
how.
just want to watch just a couple one day, just to like look at how much they're standing and doing nothing. Look how much I'm moving.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
They should have like a piece of technology that monitors how much work you're actually doing somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
I've actually secretly, not secretly. I'm partially doing it for myself, but also partially doing it to like catch moments where things go wrong when I'm having discussions with upper management, and I can like possibly prevent it. But I've started recording like any one-on-one interaction I have. My phone is recording it. One, so I can go back and listen to it, and two, so that if things pop off and I need to defend myself, I can be like, look, I told them about this, and this is how they reacted. No, I didn't. Let's go to the tapes.
Dude, I do that too. I do it with emails. Like, if someone ever asks something of me, I always say, shoot me an email. If you want something done, shoot me an email. Like, I'm not doing it without a paper trail. Not for you.
There's actually an email I have saved where I think I told you guys about it, where I was just being reamed and torn apart for no reason. And the first thing I did was, after I calmed down a bit, was save, make a copy, email it to myself, email it here. I got copies of that thing everywhere. Just so and it's just a precaution, if ever it gets like an HR like situation where it's like, well, part of the reason I'm dissatisfied with the way things are going is that I feel like my character was unnecessarily attacked. I never attacked your character. Well, according to this email, you said this and this and this and this and this, which was totally unnecessary. I'll just leave HR to deliberate on whether or not that was a necessary situation. Because I mean, at some point in time, it's you versus your boss's word, and you, without like support or a paper trail, will never ever win. Never ever ever ever. Not unless you're like related to the person who's deliberating over your case, or they're your best friend or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Man. So I guess that's another lesson. If you're dealing with a boss, make sure you have a paper trail. Even if you're dealing with anybody, make sure you have a paper trail. Always have a paper trail.
Yeah, pretty much.
Have a paper trail no matter what, because you never know, ever, when you're gonna need to be able to look back.
And at the same time, definitely. And at the same time, if, for example, you might get that boss that might be like, no, I need you to do something right now, like at this moment, at this very moment. But you can be respectful about it and say, hey, I really appreciate it if you could like submit a request, like put in a ticket, or like shoot me an email, or even have it in some sort of writing. Like, it'll only take realistically less than 20 seconds. So, and if they decline, man, that's just they're not showing any respect to you and your ability as well. Like, because I don't know what it's like. They need to they need to show that they at least show you a little bit of respect, and pretty much you can use it as a reference too. Like you can also say, hey, well, I need this so I can go back and get everything you want me to get done correct. So you can even say it like that. So just be respectful when you do want to acquire your paper trail. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because it's never a good sign when you ask somebody to email you something and they're like, why? That's when like red flags you off, and you should be like, why are you so hesitant to send me, like, just type it up real quick and send it to me in an email. I just want to be able to reference it, so I'm not always in your office be like, hey, what you say?
Cause how do I do this? What do I do again? Yeah.
just type it out for me real quick and send it to me in email. Also, so that if things pop off, I can go back to the email that you sent and be like, but this is, I mean, because I even told a coworker, they got kind of, not really blindsided, but every once in a while, like assignments will just kind of fall out of the sky. This is that kind of situation. And he's a new guy, so he was asking, I'm not really sure how to do this, I'm not sure how to go about it, because the email wasn't very specific, and it seems like they want me to convert this from this format to this, and I was like, hold on, what does the email say? It says to just put this into our template, and that's what you do. But wouldn't it make more sense? It probably would, but you do exactly what they told you to do until told otherwise. And it was just like, but what if they wanted more? They didn't tell you they wanted more. And he was just like,
and that's another thing. I didn't mean to cut you off, Joe, but that's another thing for another. That's another thing for another podcast, and this kind of applies with human beings as well. But only tell people, try the best as you can. Only give people enough information for what they request. Does that kind of make sense? Like, and I'm guilty of it. I've done it all the time. I've telling people way more information than they would ask. Like even with my conversations with y'all, I would just go on a rant, like a rant, and just talk about stuff that I shouldn't be talking about sometimes. But especially in the corporate world, guys, like take it from us. Only like answer the question and then that's it. Just don't elaborate on anything, because they can also use that to their advantage as well. And I'm not saying that just for like employees versus bosses or whatever. Just trust me. You will always be, what's the word I'm looking for? You'll always be in less trouble, I guess, because there's less paper trail for them to use against you as well, because it can always be
your life simpler.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, that's less they can bring against you when you're just like, I did exactly what you told me to. Like, well, I mean, it's like that Kevin Hart.
Like they can't fight that.
Yeah, it's like, well, I imagine you doing it this way. Just like, but you told me to do it this way, so that's what I did.
Yeah. Just like, please don't. After this podcast, we don't condone anything. Don't go to war with your bosses, please. Yeah. It's not worth your time.
To go to war, like it's a do or die situation. If you're going to go to war with your bosses, like if you're going to be in a situation where,
make sure you're ready for this.
Yeah, like make sure you're ready to lose your job over this, because there's a very real possibility. Like this ain't one of those things where it's like, you know what, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna bring this paper trail, I'm gonna call them out on their stuff. If you walk out without a job, you cannot be surprised.
Yeah,
because they're fully within their power to just fire you.
You might get it back, but
yeah, you may get it back. But you got to be willing to get it. You basically got to be willing to throw it all in the line, because sometimes the only way you get things done is by escalating things to that level and showing your boss, like, I know I'm valuable here, and until you see that, I'm walking away. Sometimes that's what it takes for certain people. But if you aren't willing to really walk away, don't just go and flex and being like, hey man, I'll quit this job if I have to. And I'm like, okay, bye. Because then you turn around and you're like, I wasn't serious. Nope. Bye.
Seriously.
Nope, I already fired you. The paperwork is done. Bye.
Seen that happen before.
Yeah, like you basically gotta be willing to put it all on the line. And
well, Joey, weren't you telling me one thing? I don't know if this happened at your job or something like that, or maybe it was like
happened at my job.
Or maybe it was like you were like one of your friends were experiencing this, but I guess he or she or you or somebody like really screwed something up. I think it was like a piece of software or something like that. And then the I guess the boss or supervisor or whatever was like, oh well, instead of firing you, you're gonna be working with us for literally ever, fixing this issue and working with us, pretty much guaranteeing him or her a continuous job, not just simply firing her.
Oh well, no,
remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. That was actually a story I read where it was a guy who was working at some hospital, and he ran some scan wrong, and he basically destroyed a $400,000 machine. And of course, he's thinking, crap, I just destroyed a $400,000 machine. I'm cooked. My job is over. When his boss found out, and he like reprimanded him, he talked him through what he did wrong, why you should never do it again. He like his boss was walking away. He was like, "You aren't going to fire me?" He was like, "No, I just taught you a $400,000 lesson. You're here forever." Like, like you're here until I'm ready for you to leave because you just learned a lesson that nobody else should ever have to learn again. You should make sure this never ever happens again. And I think that's an example of a real leader where it's like,
Yeah,
yes,
it
you know
is.
what, you messed up, but I just taught you a lesson you will never forget, and I want you under me making sure this never ever happens again because it also sets that person up to look up to you as a leadership figure because instead of killing you for a mistake, they're like, you know what, you messed up, you almost destroyed everything, and I bet you won't do it again because you just learned. Because you just learned. Like you'll never ever let that happen again. You'll be you. That guy will probably end up being the guy who, when somebody has like coffee near the machine, he tackles them from like the second out of the window. Like that's a $400,000 machine. You don't want to be near that with coffee. I mean, but that's how it is. Like I've read plenty of stories, sometimes at work, online about like genuine leaders where there are people who, like, there was one guy who started up his own company and money got tight. He took out like another mortgage on his house. Money was just getting tighter and tighter. They weren't turning a profit, but he let his employees know. And because they were passionate about what they did, because they cared about the job they were doing, and because their leader obviously cared about them, like I think he paid his rent and then he paid his employees payroll, and he and his wife, because I think he and his wife jointly owned it, they just like agreed to eat like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or something for the rest of the year because that's all they could afford at that point. Like one of their employees gave them a loan so that they weren't starving, and they were like, you know what, we'll work for free for X amount of time, and if we can't turn it around, we can't. But you've invested this much in us, we'll invest this back in you. And in that amount of time, they turned their business around. The guy sold it for a couple $1,000,000, but in doing so, he made everybody who stuck with him an equal share partner. So when he sold it for $1,000,000, they all got $1,000,000 kickbacks too. But that was because he built like a system of trust with them as their leader to say things are tight and I'm doing everything I can to make sure that you guys are okay. And they were then willing to say, we'll do the same for you. Because that's what happens. Because I mean, when you have a boss and things are like blowing up and everything is crashing down around them, and you're just like the kind of guy who's a jerk and you micromanage, you look at that all your employees are just like, I don't know what's going on. I was doing my job, I was boxing these nuggets, I was mopping the floor, and now McDonald's is on fire. I don't really know what happened, but I mean, my shift is over in 5 minutes, so I just call 911. You got it. But if you're a leader, they'll be like, all right, we should probably get the grease out the store because it'll probably explode.
Yeah, seriously.
And you'll be willing to put yourself through the ringer to make sure that establishment, that person, is well taken care of because they take good care of you. I mean, and that's how ultimately at the end of the day, what it is, in my opinion, is that when you're at a job, you enter into a relationship. And if you're going to be a jerk in a relationship and be abusive and manipulative, eventually that person's just going to up and leave. Like this, well, you'd hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there are people, that end up in the very negative situations, and sometimes that happens at jobs too. Honestly, I think that happens way more at jobs than it does with like romantic relationships, where it's like, well, yeah, a job makes me work 48 hours every 2 days, and I haven't slept and I haven't seen my kids. But they pay me 6 figures. No, that's an abusive relationship. You need to leave yesterday. But you get tantalized with money, and you're just like, no, it's okay. Nope, it's an abusive relationship. And I think it's the same thing. Like, if you got a girlfriend or a boyfriend who's like, where you at? What you doing? Who's that? Eventually you get tired of it. But if you're in a healthy relationship, just chill. And if there's a problem, they'll address it, but they won't bite your head off for it. So to all the bosses out there in boss land, learn how to be a better boyfriend or girlfriend. Even if you're married, learn how to be a better boyfriend or girlfriend. Because people, when they get married, they stop dating and stuff, and that's when you should date harder and be like, nah, I'm taking my girl out to the movies, and there's nothing you can do to stop me.
You never stop dating.
Yeah, you date for life. You marry once. Ideally, you marry once, because sometimes things don't work out that way. But yeah, ideally you marry once. Sometimes you have to marry multiple times. Sometimes tragedies happen, sometimes disagreements happen, but you date for the rest of your God-given life. You never ever stop taking care of that person on one side or another. Because if you do, then you'll end up alone in the back of some fast food restaurant, wondering why you're 84 years old and you're still flipping chicken nuggets. And I guarantee you that will happen every single time, even though it doesn't happen every single time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Trying to stay clear of that road.
I mean, you'll be fine. Your girlfriend is
cool.
like in Hawaii punching volcanoes with her feet. Like, you'll be okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you'll be all right, man. Well,
Lonely.
thank you guys for listening to us rant. Joey, Carter, I guess, do you have anything else to add on to this discussion? Because we about to wrap it up.
I think we kind of hit every major point.
And we can continue this later on, of course. We just do these guys. For anyone listening, we don't have like a strict schedule on like podcasts. We kind of just do them as they come, and whoever is like available and whatnot. So forgive us for that, first of all, but they will be random, unfortunately.
But if you have a particular topic that you'd like to see, please feel free to email and or reach out to one of us so that we can facilitate that discussion for you.
Yes, or simply drop a comment in the comment section, of course.
Yeah,
that could definitely work.
Get in contact with us somehow. We'll gladly rage about whatever your topic of choice is.
Yeah,
we are filled with rage because we are millennials.
Yay, dude! Okay, check this out. So I got back from my parents' house today, and they kind of triggered me today. And they were, I love them to death. I really do. I really do. But Joey, they seem to forget, bro. They forget who's the generation that has raised the millennials. She had the audacity to tell me to my face that when I was giving up my well, I don't know if I should tell the internet this, but I can tell the internet a little bit about it. But I'll go more into detail with you guys later. But I do want to create like I guess Google competitor, if you will.
Bold.
But pretty much the basic concept of it is to because people don't have a lot of time to really do anything, like especially when it comes to reading. So I want to be able to. How do I say this? I don't want to reveal too much because you guys will be seeing it soon. Pretty much, I wanted to be able to
optimize searching for information.
Let's call it that. Needs. Yeah, let's do it like that. So whatever piece of information you're literally looking for, it will be able to provide you with a particular answer for it. But people usually don't have time to hear like a lengthy explanation or go through articles upon articles in order to find the answer. So what this tool is used for is it's literally able to answer simple questions so you can get on with your day and life, and it'll actually help you college students later on when it's built and whatnot and finished and finalized. But she told me like only a millennial will create something like that, something so we can promote everybody else to be continuously lazy. Like millennials are so lazy, like they can't even look up the, I guess, stringent answer of your questions. Like I'm like, no, it's like, but no. But she told me like I don't really, and this is for anybody who says we don't work hard. Like look at everybody on the internet. They want to become celebrities so bad. But at the same time, everybody they want to become famous and whatnot and well known. But they're working their butts off. They really are. They're pretty like even me. I'm providing content to you guys on YouTube each and every other day. Like I'm being consistent with it, using up my time, using up my resources and my money, of course. But I want this to work out for the better, and so I can also help educate you guys as well. So. No, I am not lazy, and I work very hard, and I want this tool that we're building. I want that to be able to help the world as well, and I'm working hard to create it because I had this idea for years, and I'm just now putting it in effect. The hardest thing, honestly, and this is another life lesson for another day. Like, if you have like an idea or want to start a business or whatever, like just start it. That's the easiest part you can do. Just start it, and it may not flourish as soon as you create it or whatever, but if you actually just start it and just be consistent with it, you'll be fine, trust me. But no, she kind of triggered me when she said I didn't work hard enough, and because I want this portal to be able to answer simple questions so other people don't have to go through the hard work and I guess grunt work to find out the answer, then we're just all lazy. But anyway.
So, two things.
Yeah.
One, so the thing that you're working on.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of just like, forgive me if I don't know if this is what it is, but this is what it sounds like to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sounds like you want to like, you know how like all the new Android phones they got like the little like helper app things like you can
Okay,
ask
Google.
and stuff. Or yeah, that.
Oh crap, my phone. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
I just turned it off.
So you want to take? It sounds like you want to take that idea, but expand upon it and make it more,
It's gonna start off a little more simpler.
simpler. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay. Second thing is like that whole situation with you and your mom. That reminded me of this interview I watched on about like y'all. Well, Joey, I know you know who Hobson, but you know who Hobson is?
Yeah, I do actually. The rapper guy.
Yeah, that
He's
reminded me
freaky.
of an interview with that he had that he went to his whole story with his record label before he branched out and made his own label. And that's like the same situation that he had to deal with. He was being constantly told like he doesn't work hard, he doesn't do anything, even though he produced, wrote, created everything of all of his music by himself in a tiny like 8x8 room.
Yeah,
I was like, oh,
that guy works his ass off.
Yeah.
Because honestly, and no offense to my parents or anybody else's parents or whatever, but everything is established, and we have to work 3 times as hard just to get whatever we want done established as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, there are 19 million celebrities and rappers and artists and things like that. Like, businesses have been built, medical, technology, whatever it may be. Since it's already here, people aren't going to really want to, I guess, expand upon anything like new. And like, because pretty much all we can do right now is take an idea and just twist it and make it that much better.
Yeah.
That's really all we can do, but we have to work our ass off in order to...
The only the most logical thing that any of us can do is to take something and innovate it or make it our own in some way. But it's always going to start off the same. Like, this came from this.
Right.
But this is what I'm doing now, which is different than this. But there are similarities nonetheless.
Like, for example, if the 3 of us wanted to come together to create a bank, you got SunTrust already, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. How the hell if we ever get to that point to where we actually can establish a bank, is that not hard work?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Literally, like, in order to saying like taking the bank situation, like if you're trying to start up a bank, we have to do something completely different and new that like no one's doing right now. Like,
but the foundation will remain the same.
Well, yeah, but the foundation will remain the same. Because like the only thing that pops in my mind is like the Simple, because I just got a Simple account, which is basically a completely online mobile banking service. There are no branches, there are no ATMs. It's just you have internet, you can deal with your bank. They send you a card. If you need a check, you can ask them like, hey, I want to send a check to this place, and they will write you a check for you and send it to them. Like there's no place for you to go.
Right.
That just sounds pretty convenient. Shout out to Simple for revolutionizing the banking industry, making it so that you don't close at 5. Why does every industry close at 5?
Bro, let's talk about that. Hey, we need to end this podcast, but let's talk about that. Why do, especially doctors' offices, why are y'all only available 7 to 3? Like, everybody works 9 to 5, bro. Like, banks especially.
Same crap happened. Like, I was like, okay, because I had to go to the doctor for something. Not gonna go into what it was, but like I went to the campus hospital, so I had to have to walk to the main, like, super expensive one. And when I got there, it said they closed. It was a Friday. It was on a Friday, and said they closed at 5. It's like, why are you closed at 5 on a Friday on a campus?
That's stupid, bro.
I mean, granted, I understand that people want to get home, but I feel like there are certain jobs in the world where you should be willing to not work a traditional schedule. Like, and I'm sure TJ, you'll be able to agree with me more than Patrick will currently. Mm-hmm. Why do construction workers work during work hours? Why are you in the middle of the road while I'm trying to get to work? Why can't you work on this at midnight? Just flip your sleep schedule. Like, if I'm trying to go to lunch, that's when they decide, you know what, we're going to rip up the whole street and make this a 1-lane road. Why? I'm trying to go to lunch.
Especially here.
I'm trying to go to lunch. You see me?
If you guys didn't know, we reside in Georgia. So it's currently hot as balls right now. So they actually can work starting at midnight. All they need is some giant ass spotlights, and they'll be cool.
I've seen a couple. I've seen that happen like only not even a handful of times. I've seen that happen.
Hey, but shout out to the construction workers though. They deal with a lot of shit. Seriously,
they really do, and I don't envy your parents at all. Like I'm God bless for me. My parents pushed me to go to college, and not even looking down on them. I'm just glad that I am not the one out there having to build our roads and do a great job on them. But please, can you start work at 6:30? Because like it would be so much better.
We got places to go, and I ain't trying to get like.
I mean, I understand you got a family.
I don't have to worry about hitting you on accident. I don't have to worry about fined if I accidentally hit you or something. Like, come on.
Yeah, like I just.
What, y'all niggas still here?
Yes, we're still here, Blue.
We actually about to wrap it up, Blue.
Yeah. Oh, balls.
Yeah. I mean, you can. Here, I'll give you, Blue, if you want to say anything else, I will give you literally 60 seconds, and then we'll have to wait till the next podcast.
59.
All right. Let's see. Anything else I gotta say? Managers. Leaders are where it's at. They're the ones that make the world go round. They're the one that makes the workplace better. They're the ones that progress. And they're the one that help businesses progress. Managers just keeps it where it's at for the most. Now, granted, there are some managers that actually do the work great and allow businesses to progress. But at the same time, just asking the employees how they feel about the management, they may say otherwise. And as far as that goes, if anybody wants to be in the management position, project manager or anything like that, be a leader, don't be a manager. Because if you get people that know what they're doing and do it well and rarely have any mess-ups or hiccups or anything like that, then business is going to be booming.
True. I guess, like, for my quick closing word, I would just like to say, to anybody out there who's in a leadership position, try to work with your team. Don't drag your team around by don't be that person walking your dog who's dragging the dog. If the dog wants to go explore the bushes and is not going to take you off the trail you're walking, don't kill the dog when it's trying to do dog stuff. Similarly, when you got people under you and they want to explore a system, don't pull the leash and be like, I told you that you were supposed to code for 14 hours today. Bruh, let me take a break and try to figure out if I can help your business be better. Don't kill me over trying to make my job better. Simultaneously, for the workers out there, figure out very quickly, and when I say very quickly, I mean you got a day. Figure out what kind of person you're working under and act accordingly. Don't go to a person who's a boss being like, hey, I think we can improve this and this, and I think your job could be better, because you will be without a job before the sun goes down. Just that quick. You will no job as the sun is setting. It'll happen 90% of the time.
By the time that decaf coffee is done brewing.
But if you are fortunate enough to get someone who's genuine, and they are hard to find, who's a genuine, caring leader, don't be afraid to spend some time there either. Because I know, in our generation, there's this whole, I'm here for 45 minutes, it's time for me to get a new job. Sometimes it helps to stay in one place and learn everything that you can before moving on. Mm-hmm. But also, please don't be those people who stay at one job for 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25 years. But when you don't have a family, because if you do have a family, all bets are off, because you got to make consistent money. But if you just kicking it, and you have you have your wife or something, and you're like, I like it here. I think I'll stay here for. I think I'm going to invest in this 45-year pension plan. Kill yourself right now, because you already died.
Thinking out that long.
Because you've already committed yourself to death. So just accelerate the process. But no, real talk. Just figure out who you're working for and act accordingly.
Cool. Mr. Carter, any closing thoughts?
No, we gotta just hit every major point as it is.
Don't go to McDonald's and get the McRib. It's made of sadness. There you go.
Yes, don't do that. No, just ask for a bottle of sauce and just leave.
Well, I don't really have anything else to say. If you want the best company that you can possibly have, this is for anybody, not just bosses. Just try to have a leader mentality. Just treat everyone as though you were in a relationship, which you kind of are once you're locked into a you know, corporate office job like us, or anything in corporate America, and pretty much anything. Just treat everybody the way you want to be treated, and just be a leader. Like, don't be lazy. Just work with your team, and all will be good. Yeah, man. We're not complaining. We're just saying we're out.
We out.